Hi everyone, Budget Stark here. Thanks again for tuning in. Today's video we're checking out King Art's 1 in 9th scale diecast Mark 39 Starboost from Iron Man 3. I think most of you guys know the Starboost from Hot Toys came out a while back. King Arts have been releasing quite a large number of figures in 2015 to catch up, I suppose. And the Starboost is one of the ones that came out, which is, I'd like to say, quite an interesting armor. Overall, because it's unique, there's not going to be another armor that's going to be like this Starboost. So I'm going to show you some of the new features that King Arts have introduced into its Iron Man line. On top of that, show you how this looks compared to the Hot Toys Starboost, and I'll just put that right next to each other. And then at the end, I'll show you the other Iron Man figures that King Arts have done. It's not going to be an in-depth video about the articulation, the light-up features, etc. on the Starboost, because I think most of you guys know how that pretty much looks from the previous videos that I have. So I'm going to show you now a quick look at the figure itself. Before I go into that, these are the accessories that you get. It's not a huge amount, but standard for Iron Man. You get the base, the nameplates there, the usual Iron Man hands, which are the articulated hands, repulsor hands, and relaxed hands. The Starboost gets an additional faceplate here, which is similar to how you have an extra one for the Hot Toys one. The short clamp for standing, the short pole for standing, the longer pole for flight poses, and that's the clamp there. Before I show you the figure, this is one of the new features that King Arts have done. This base is no ordinary base. It is a magnetic auto light up base, and I'll switch the light off here so you can see what I mean. I've put the normal batteries in. Then you literally pick up the figure, put it on the base, and it lights up just like that. Take the figure off, light switches off, auto light on. It works via a magnet on the bottom of the feet of the Starboost figure. Nice little touch, something different that I haven't seen any other companies use yet. This is the only one that it works with though. It won't work with the 42, the 43, or the Hammerhead as well. So this is the only one that this base would work with. The only thing though, I believe there's no normal light switch to switch this on. So you have to use it with the Starboost to switch it on. So let's check out the front of this, have a quick pan downwards. And for those who are observant and do know about the Hot Toys version, the paint app is very slightly different in terms of the weathering. This is very much a cleaner armor compared to the Hot Toys version, which you will see when I put it next to each other. It's a little bit more weathered. In terms of articulation, because it's a slightly bulkier armor, the articulation is not as good as the 42 or the 43, but it's pretty decent nonetheless. It lights up in every way the same as Hot Toys one, where the backpack here, and here lights up, usual faceplate lights up, repulsor hands, chest, arc reactor, and an additional feature is that the feet light up as well. So the King Arts feet light up. So if you're doing flight poses, that's a nice little additional feature to have compared to other figures. I don't believe any other figures have feet that light up as well. So let's put in a Starboost from Hot Toys now. Let's bring in that side by side, and you can see the difference what I'm talking about. Firstly, let me show you a quick height difference. So you can see it's just over 12 inches, about 12.5 inches for the Hot Toys one. Then for the King Arts version, it's around 9.5 inches. It's around the back. About 9.5 inches in terms of height. So let's check this out. If you look at the intake arrows, where the front section here on the King Arts version, moving across, a lot more weathered there. The honeycomb design is very similar. The slight difference in the colour. This, I would say, is like a darker metal, darker grey, whereas Hot Toys version is very slightly lighter grey. The gold areas are pretty much the same, but in the centre piece, just below the arc reactor, it's a pure clean gold. And again, Hot Toys more weathering there, and weathering all round, like here on the bicep, on the top section, a little bit of weathering there. Whereas on this section, there's no real weathering on the biceps. You can see that it's a slightly different paint app, very, very slightly. But if you're looking for essentially a mini version of the Hot Toys one, this is pretty much an impressive alternative. One of the best things I thought about the Hot Toys one is that this abdomen is collapsible. This goes in to provide a big crunch. This part here goes in. Now, the King Arts version, this just extends upwards, doesn't give that sort of twist. It has these similar flaps on the side here, on the Hot Toys one that comes out, and this flap comes out as well on the King Arts version. So all in all, a impressive 1 in 9th scale paint app, articulation, I think nicely designed all round. The hardest thing that I can see with the articulation is it's got more parts to it to get in the way of the articulation, particularly if you look the side flaps here. So they've had to incorporate that in their engineering design. The legs drop down, you just literally pull it downwards here like that, which is pretty much the same as the Hot Toys version as well. So I'm going to pull up the other figures that King Arts have done, so you can see how they look together as a group. I thought I'll finish off the display by showing off the back of the figures, which I forgot to do so in the previous section. So if you look down the King Arts version, you can see it's clean, just like the front section, much cleaner. Then you move across to the Hot Toys version, you can see that it has a little bit more weathering, just like the front, and the design is very slightly different. Just to point out, for example, the design of these little dot section here at the rear section, this section here, the spine, is not articulated, whereas on the Hot Toys version here, it is articulated. The design of the lower calf, I'm not sure what to call that really, port exhausts, maybe something like that, sort of exhaust section here on the calves. Again, very different to that section in terms of colour and design as well. So it's definitely not an identical mirror image, but all in all, a miniaturized version. So that is the rear section of the King Arts Starboost Mark 39. This is pretty much how the gang looks in terms of scale, and they're pretty much all the same height. The hammerhead is very slightly taller, not by much. I would say that's probably about 9 3/4 inches. The rest are about 9.5 inches. So just to show one last pan of the Starboost with the other figures together. If you are picking up the King Arts figures, in terms of articulation compared to Hot Toys, some parts better, other parts a little bit more restricted. It's definitely a different dimension, and I think a lot of collectors do like the die-cast element of these Iron Man figures. It feels more robust, feels like how an armor should be. So anyway, that's pretty much it, just to show off this new Mark 39 Starboost from King Arts. Thanks for watching, and catch you all at the next video.